Welcome to the Wacky Foreigner Show with your host, Avneet Isabella Heimball. Second episode, 8-Cow Wife and Valentine's Day. Hey everyone, this is Avneet Isabella Heimball, inviting you to a very warm and fuzzy Valentine's 2020 special episode with us. It is extremely chilly this evening. The temperatures here in Fairfax County, Virginia are in mid-teens, so I hope you guys are warm and fuzzy like we are. Well, my younger son is out having a dinner with his lovely date, and my husband and I, with our furry pets, are warm and cozy on our very comfy sofa, watching movies and stuffing our mouth full of chocolates. Yes, it's heaven. So, what gifts do I come bearing for you, my friends, today on this warm and fuzzy Valentine's Day? I have a beautiful romantic story that I am dying to share with you guys. I heard this story many years ago in a church. It was a message for married couples. The story stuck with me, and I could have sworn it was part of the scriptures. So I kept trying without any luck for years and years to find the scripture verse that it came from. And like I said, no luck, so I just gave up. A few weeks ago, on Saturday evening, I was participating in a Christian sister scope. She oftentimes scopes to encourage and strengthen the walk of other Christians. And I figured that she has a better understanding of the Bible than I do because I am new at this. So I asked her, I said, hey, have you ever heard of a story of a man who paid extreme amount of dowry just so that his wife would feel beautiful? And she did end up becoming beautiful. She said, well, that sounds like a cute story, but I've never heard of it being part of the Bible. So I said, you know what? Tomorrow, Sunday morning, when I go to church, I really need an answer. So I'm going to ask my pastor. She's like, all right, keep me posted. I haven't really quite shared the story with her, but it's Valentine's Day podcast, so I'll definitely be sharing it with her so she will know. So I never really quite got to ask my pastor about this story because on Saturday evening after I stopped talking to this Christian scoper, I took to the internet and started doing some major Google search. And I tried various combinations until I found the story that I had heard many years ago in a church. Although the story is not part of the Christian scripture, it oftentimes will pop up on Christian websites as part of relationship, especially marriage advice. This is Valentine's Day, so it's very fitting that I share this story with you guys. So the story was first printed in Women's Day on November 1965, and it's written by Patricia McGeer. It was again reprinted in Reader's Digest on February 1988, pages 138 to 141. Before you guys start laughing, just hang in there. The title of the story is Johnny Lingo's 8-Cow Wife. So according to the story, the writer was visiting Kiniwata Island, which is an island in the Pacific. And there she often heard locals talk about a man named Johnny Lingo, who was regarded as being a highly skilled, intelligent, and savvy tradesman. If you wanted to know where the best fishing spots were, Johnny Lingo was your go-to man. If you wanted to know where to go get the best deals in pearls, Johnny Lingo was your go-to man. Basically, if you wanted to know anything related to trades, Johnny Lingo was the one who was highly respected in town. However, she also noticed that each time the locals talked about Johnny Lingo, it seemed almost as they were mocking him or laughing at him just a little, which she didn't quite understand. So one day, she asked Shenkin, the guest house manager, to explain why is it that she feels like the locals are making fun of Johnny Lingo while also telling her that he was the best go-to man in case she wanted to do fishing or get pearls, etc. And that's when Shenkin told her about the story that happened 5 months ago at the Fall Festival. According to the island customs, young men who were seeking to find themselves wives would give a dowry of cows to the girl's father in order to secure their hand in marriage. According to the island customs, a man may give up to 2 to 3 cows if the woman was assessed to be a fair to middling wife. And a maximum of 4 to 5 cows for a woman who was assessed to be a very nice quality of wife. It just so happens to be that Johnny Lingo wanted to marry Sam Caruth's daughter named Sarita, who happened to be regarded as a very plain-looking girl by the islanders. To call her plain-looking is actually quite a compliment. Sam Caruth wasn't even expecting 1 cow for his daughter. Now imagine Sam Caruth's surprise when Johnny Lingo walks straight up to him and says, "I will give you 8 cows for Sarita's hand in marriage." And ever since that day, Johnny Lingo earned a reputation amongst the islanders of having made a terrible deal when it came to negotiating for a wife. And that is why they chuckle and they mock him just a little when they bring up his name on the island. Since the writer wanted help with purchasing fish and pearls, she decided to go visit Johnny Lingo on the island of Nurabandi. And she figured this way she would get to meet the skinny and plain-looking Sarita, the 8-cow wife whom everyone said walked with her shoulders hunched and was fearful of her own shadow. Once the writer got to the island of Nurabandi, she was greeted into the home of a very warm and welcoming Johnny Lingo. They made small talk and Johnny inquired if she had come to visit him from the island of Kiniwata and if they spoke about him on the island. The writer informed Johnny Lingo that they spoke highly of him as being a very savvy tradesman. And then he smiled and gently told the writer that his wife was from the island of Kiniwata, to which she instantly responded that she knew and that they sometimes spoke of her. Now this caught Johnny Lingo's interest, and he asked her, what exactly did they say about her? The writer said, well, they told me that you married her in the fall festival and that you gave 8 cows to marry your wife. The writer was turned off by how pleased with himself Johnny Lingo seemed, knowing that he was known in both islands for having paid 8 cows dowry for his wife. She chalked his extravagant dowry up to mere vanity. As Johnny Lingo and the writer were talking, a woman that the author described as being, quote, the most beautiful woman she had ever seen walked in. With the lift of her shoulders, the tilt of her chin, the sparkle of her eyes, all spelled a pride to which no one could deny her the right, unquote. This gorgeous creature briefly entered the room to set flowers upon the table before exiting it with a quick smile towards Johnny Lingo. Johnny Lingo caught the writer admiring this beautiful woman who had briefly come into the room earlier. So he inquired if she was admiring the beauty of the woman. The writer admitted yes, she was, and she was even more stunned when Johnny Lingo told her that this indeed was his wife, Sarita from Kiniwata. Now the writer couldn't contain herself anymore, and she said, but I heard she was homely. They all made fun of you because you let yourself be cheated by Sam Caruth. Johnny Lingo smiled, and he asked her, you think 8 cows were too many for Sarita? The author said, no, but how could she be so different? And then Johnny Lingo said, do you ever think what it must mean to a woman to know that her husband has settled on the lowest price for which she can be bought? And then later, when the women talk, they boast of what their husbands paid for them. One says 4 cows, another maybe 6. How does she feel? The woman who was sold for 1 or 2. This could not happen to my Sarita. The author asked, then you did this just to make your wife happy? To which Johnny Lingo responded, I wanted Sarita to be happy, yes, but I wanted more than that. You say she is different. This is true. Many things can change a woman. Things happen inside, things happen outside. But the thing that matters most is what she thinks of herself. In Kiniwata, Sarita believed she was worth nothing. Now she knows she is worth more than any other woman in the islands. Johnny Lingo was definitely a savvy tradesman. Do you have an 8-cow spouse? In case you messed up and forgot to give your in-laws 8 cows for your spouse, don't worry. I did the math for you. You can still make up for lost time. In United States of America, a top-of-the-line cow can cost you up to $5,000. Now multiply that with 8. So just for the measly price of $40,000, you can make your snookums feel special. All jokes aside, you don't need $40,000 to make your spouse feel special. In all fairness, it's not the amount of money or the grand romantic gestures you make towards your spouse on special occasions like Valentine's Day that truly matter. What really matters in a healthy relationship is whether or not you treat your spouse each day with love, respect, dignity, consideration, and understanding. Are you mentally and physically loyal and fully committed to your spouse and your marriage? Do you speak ill of your spouse to others, or do you crack jokes about them or your marriage in order to make others laugh? Do you conduct yourself with total integrity even when your spouse is not looking? Do you know how to restrain your tongue instead of going for the kill with the sharpest and most cutting words that you can possibly conjure up just to win heated arguments with your spouse? Yes, my friend. It is little things that you do on a daily basis that can really make or break a modern marriage. As my husband's uncle wrote on our wedding card, true love is a conscious decision whereby you choose to love your spouse even when you don't feel like loving them. Feelings can ebb and flow, but real love is forever. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of The Wacky Foreigner Show. Please don't forget to subscribe to my podcast and show me some love by sharing it out. Wacky Foreigner Show can also be found on YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, and Facebook. If you like, you can make donations in any amount to the show by visiting paypal.me/Wacky Foreigner Show. Until next time.